Speaking of defensive linemen, though, again, we've talked a lot of quarterbacks. Again, you were at the spring game and you saw that defensive front, and I think that's got to be the thing. Certainly, there's going to be some question marks and holes on the defense when you lose as many guys as you did to the draft, transfer portal, whatever. But the defensive front, I think, has got to make you really excited when you talk about guys like J.J. Nigbare and Ricky Sandage and Zach Pickens and Jordan Birch and Brad Johnson and Jordan Strawn. Jordan Strawn's the Georgia State guy who led the college football in sacks.
We'll be fine on the defensive line.
Yeah.
They're good.
Yeah.
They're good football players.
Yeah.
Zach Pickens is a good football player. Birch is going to take his game to the next
I think those guys are going to.
J.J. Nigbare will be a first-round pick next year. Right.
Yeah.
We need help in the secondary. I don't believe that they will be as bad as you think.
Yeah.
People are like, oh my gosh, we lost the first-round pick. Izzy left. Listen, it's hard. Those are good players, JC especially. I don't think that will be as bad.
Well, I mean, on that note, too, it's funny because you bring that up, and that's definitely the thing that I say. And, that's my biggest concern for sure. I think it's well documented at this point is the secondary. But then you look and you're like, man, we gave up 37 points per game with those guys. So, I mean,
is it going to get any worse? No.
What difference does it make?
I
mean, no disrespect, but it's like, man,
we played a lot of man coverage.
Right.
And listen, man's tricky, dude.
Yeah.
In this league.
Yeah.
Elijah Moore ate his lunch, buddy.
Yeah.
Big time. Yeah. Okay. Now, don't get me wrong. JC is a friggin' stud.
Yeah.
Like elite of elite. But man coverage is tough. That's a tough deal for a secondary, especially if you can't get pressure on the quarterback. Then you're done. I don't expect them to be a heavy man team. I don't think they have the horses to do that. And I don't think they should. I think that we've got a good enough defensive line to play zone coverage, right? So the quarterback's not going to be out there just all day, just farting around and throwing dots all over the secondary. So it'll be interesting. I probably should study up on the names of the guys.
Right.
But
well, I mean, they're all so new. I mean, your most veteran guy is Cam Smith. He has 3 career starts.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you got a lot
sophomore,
of
right?
Right. And you got a lot of youngsters like the Joey Hunters and the Dominic Hills and the O'Donnell Fortunes that didn't really get to play until, last 3 games when guys had opted out. And like you were saying, like they were just trying to scrounge up guys who wanted to go play ball. And, but it is interesting again, because all the questions with the secondary, and I'm like, man, like, again, all due respect to it. Do you feel like it was like just confusion on the defense? Like, do you feel like the scheme was? I mean, again, you're an offensive guy.
I don't know. A lot of people say that. I've heard a lot of people say
because there was talent on that defense. There's no question.
Scheme of it wasn't, was too much for them to handle. But they ran a lot of man. I don't know what's confusing about it.
Right.
I'm covering you. You're covering him. Kind of a thing. Yeah. I there were times where we did struggle getting to the passer. J.J. Nigbare obviously had a decent year, but the year before that, there wasn't, I guess Javon Kinlaw had a couple of good games.
Right.
But overall, consistently, we haven't, I wouldn't go on record and say, man, we suck in the secondary. We get to the passer, because that's not the case. Like you said, 37 points a game. That's going to win you 2 games,
No, for sure.
And then in a full season, 3, maybe 4, so I would expect them to take, and again, defense, in my opinion, I didn't play it in college, but it's more of give them something simple, basic, right? Don't make the defense confusing. Now, just disguise, try to make it difficult for the quarterback to see what they're doing. But as far as the actual defense that's being played, make it simple so they can just play.